it's enough. Every day I see these fakes playing these games and pushing the blame. I had enough to take the shame. When you try to be nice, you try to sacrifice, and down the line you end up being victimized. In the world where you compliment the ladies, they look at you funny, they throw their heads up and act like you stole their money. Then you trying to find friends, it's about your drama, that's just something I can comprehend. So when I look at the ladies, then I look at the fellas, then I think to myself, why are we fighting each other?
What's up? It's your boy KC. How y'all doing? Welcome to episode 24 of my podcast show. Let's get this done started. You know what grinds my gears, man? Boxers that don't stretch. It's a pain in the ass to go to any store around here, and the stores is lying to people, man, talking about, oh, this is one size fits all. That's bull crap. Because you try to put that stuff on. Look, I'm a big guy. If I see elastic underwear or boxers, I'ma stretch them the hell out in order to fit them. Them one size fits all things, they don't stretch. It's like being ziplocked or something, man. And that's what grinds my gears. Before I get on with the wrestling portion of my show, I want to talk about racial profiling. Now, I'm not racist by any means. I have friends in all races, and I'll date a girl in any race because good people come in all colors. No doubt about that. But it's very difficult to be a young black man in this country, specifically for two reasons. You do have those idiots that make us look bad, and then you have people who automatically have this image of all young black men, and it's irritating. And I know that there are good people in this country, so I'm not talking about y'all. There are really good people out there. God bless y'all. But I'm talking specifically to those idiots that just think this way about us. Let me ask them a question. Why is it whenever you see a young black man in a nice car, nice outfit, he has a nice house, you automatically think that there's foul play? You automatically think that he's doing something illegal. There are some of us that do work our asses off to get the things that we have. Not every young brother is a drug dealer. I wish people would get that out of their heads. Seriously, it's very insulting to be grouped in with those idiots that do illegal activity, especially when a guy like me busts my ass every single day. I'm busting my ass at work to do what I gotta do to maintain the things that I have. And I just wish that some people would stop doing that. Is it so much to ask? Jerry Lawler's suspension has been lifted. All the charges were dropped against him because the guy's Teflon. You can't hurt the guy. You can't get him in trouble. He's right back behind the announce booth, and he will be there until the day he dies. So there it is. I want to talk about Bret Hart, the Hitman. You know, I've been listening to a lot of the things that Bret Hart has been saying because he has his own podcast. I'm like, damn, everybody has one. But I look at the things that he says. I've been reading it and listening to it, and I think to myself, why didn't we get this version of Bret Hart back in 92, 93, 94? Because that Hitman back then, I'm sorry, I'll be the first to tell you, Bret Hart's promos were garbage. Oh my God. The guy was stuttering and he just didn't know what he wanted to say. And I'm like, if we had gotten this Bret Hart that we have now back then, you know how much more entertaining his feuds would have been if you had epic promo battles like that, where Bret Hart just cut loose and said, I don't give a damn about anybody in this company. I'm going to trash this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's an old people thing. I'm not calling Bret old, but you look at old people. Old people do not give a damn about what anybody says. These dudes and women are OGs. They drop stuff on their shirts and they go out in public. They don't care. Like, whatever. They say whatever they want to say to people, and it doesn't matter. Bret Hart falls right into that category, and it's awesome, man. You know, old people just don't give a damn. I wish somebody would make a t-shirt of that. But I really wish we got that Bret Hart back then, man. It would have been a hell of a lot more entertaining. A promo battle between Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect, where we had Bret Hart now talking about, Mr. Perfect, you couldn't lace my fucking boots. That jump would be freaking awesome, man. We got cheated. Anyways, Brock Lesnar This guy is a beast. No pun intended. He's a total badass, and he's a freak of nature. I have never seen an athlete of his caliber ever. I remember when he first came into WWE, and I looked at this guy, I'm like, this guy is massive. Not only that, he was able to move, and he could still move very, very quickly. For a man his size, and the things that he was able to do back then, it's scary, man. I don't even know how people do that. I haven't seen somebody do that shit since Vader when he was doing the damn moonsaults off the top rope, which should be illegal in wrestling when you have a man that big doing that shit like that. Seriously. Anyways, Brock Lesnar came in, became the champion in his first year. He beat The Rock, the biggest star in the company at that time. And that was something to behold there. He went on to have the classic feuds with Kurt Angle and all the stuff that he was doing in his early run. He leaves, then he tries out for the Vikings in the NFL, but he didn't make the cut. Then he went on the UFC, becomes the world heavyweight champion there, and draws a hell of a lot of money while he's doing that. Then he leaves that, he comes back to WWE and destroys everybody. Triple H, John Cena, CM Punk. He broke the Undertaker streak, which still sucks to this day, but he did benefit from it. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that it was Brock Lesnar, a part-timer, that broke the Undertaker streak, but who else was gonna do it? Who else was gonna benefit from it? And let's say the Undertaker streak was never broken. It's still intact. Who on the main roster right now do you see as a legitimate challenge to the Undertaker and who could actually beat the Undertaker? Yes, you have great wrestlers like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, you have Samoa Joe, Bray Wyatt, but none of those guys are going to beat the Undertaker. That's how I see it. If anybody is gonna destroy the Undertaker, it's gonna be somebody like Brock Lesnar, a freaking beast, a guy that was stronger, faster, and younger than the Undertaker. He is a believable opponent. Like I said, I hate the fact that they broke it, but if they're gonna do it, you get someone who's a freaking monster to do it. It makes perfect sense to me, and Brock benefited from it because he became the champion after that. And I don't care what anybody says. Whenever Brock Lesnar defended that belt, it was must-see TV. Then he went back to UFC and beat Mark Hunt. After being away 5 years, he went back and beat the crap out of his opponent. That is impressive. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, like I said, an athlete of his caliber do that, because you look at Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock left wrestling, went back to mixed martial arts, and he's been getting his ass kicked ever since then. I'm sorry. I've watched a lot of his fights. He's gotten beat down by some of these younger dudes. But Ken Shamrock is also in his early 50s, so I guess I'll give him that. It looks like my nightmares have come true, and we're going to have a McMahon running each show. Shane is going to be running SmackDown, and Stephanie's going to be running Raw. They're calling them commissioners for some reason, and they have to choose their own GMs. And as I said in the last show, I really don't care. Seriously, I really don't give a damn. This shit is so old, it's not even funny anymore. I am tired of seeing McMahon family rivalries. I'm tired of it. It's to the point to where I don't even want to watch anymore. I'm being completely honest with y'all. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm saying to myself that WWE as a company, excluding NXT, is a boring product. I'm being dead serious. Yes, you have some great matches. The wrestlers are great on this show, but it's boring because it's extremely homogenized, it's micromanaged, and it's heavily scripted. And these guys sound like robots. Now, you look at the main roster right now, excluding a few people like Kevin Owens, Undertaker, Kaz and Enzo, and Bully Ray, excluding those people, you look at the main roster right now, the main problem with me when it comes to this product is that nobody other than those people have personalities. They are boring to look at. You look at the golden era back in the day when you had Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, even though he was batshit insane. Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Rick Rude, those guys had personality and they had charisma. They kept you interested. Hogan, I don't care what anybody says, Hogan is a piece of shit. But that guy had more charisma than anybody on this roster right now. He had the ability to get you charged up for his match. He could talk people into the building. Hulk Hogan was not famous for his wrestling ability. The guy could talk his ass off. Steve Austin, The Rock, Shawn Michaels in 97. Those guys have personality. Mick Foley has personality. And I think the main reason for me is what makes WWE boring now is that you don't have that. Like I said, these guys are a bunch of robots because everything's scripted. Everything's micromanaged. They can't go out there and cut the promos that they want to because they're afraid they'll get into trouble. And that's why it makes it unwatchable for me, among other things. I'm not going to get into that. But if they would just change that one thing, WWE could be entertaining again because yes, you have great matches, but great matches are only going to go so far when you have a bunch of terrible promos and a bunch of mic work that sucks. People remember guys like the Macho Man and those guys back then. They remember them not just for the matches that they had, but the way that they carried their characters, how entertaining they were. That's what people remember the most. And when you take all that away, you just have a product that's just bland. Bland to look at. I look at these guys, you might as well just have an empty ring, as far as I'm concerned. And considering the fact that the first brand split was a failure, I have absolutely zero faith in WWE that they're gonna do this right the second time around. Time to talk about TNA. I rarely ever talk about these guys, period. But I have to say something on this final deletion match between Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero. I don't know why he's calling Jeff by his middle name, but I guess that's what they call him. I think it's funny as hell, man. To hear Matt Hardy talk in that horrible accent, it's great. It's great. I think that's the best character he's ever had, to be honest. It's entertaining as hell. I looked at this match, and yes, it is a silly match when you first look at it, but I was entertained. I loved it. I had a lot of fun watching this match, and part of the reason is we get the same shit every single week. Everything is up to status quo. It's nice, other than Lucha Underground, because they're off the wall with their shit every single week. It's great. But it's nice to see something different every now and then. And this was different. I mean, the shit that they was doing in this match was just, it was crazy. Shooting fireworks at each other, setting stuff on fire. Jeff Hardy jumped off, he loves to jump off things that are high up. And I could have sworn he did it about 2 or 3 times. Dude jumped out of a tree onto his brother. What's it called? He got on this large symbol. I don't know where the hell they got that symbol from. And it got lit on fire. Jeff Hardy falls off and he lost the match. So Broken Matt has deleted his younger brother. And I had a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I had fun watching a wrestling match like that. And I don't know if they're ever going to do anything like this again, but it was great. So 2 thumbs up. And speaking of Broken Matt Hardy, there seems to be a little Twitter war going on between him and Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt sent out these tweets saying, "Love me or hate me, I am the single most creative thing this industry has seen this century. Constantly imitated, but there's only one me. Lest we forget, without Bray Wyatt, no one would ever been broken in the first place. Go ahead, lie and say it isn't true." So we got something going on here, a little friendly battle, and that would be awesome to see a match between Broken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt and see the creative stuff that they could come up with, just not in WWE. If this is going to happen, this is going to happen in TNA, because if they bring this to WWE, WWE is just going to mess that shit up. Not that I'm saying that TNA is better. WWE is better than them in every single way possible. But I just feel that with the creative in WWE, they'll probably just mess it up. While we're on the subject of Twitter, it looks like Ryback is at it again. He tweeted out a picture of his face. I don't know what the hell happened to his face, but his face is black and blue and his nose is broken. I'm like, what the hell happened to you, man? But that's not what I'm talking about. The comment that he sent out when he sent this picture is uncalled for. He said he feels like CM Punk after he gets out his first UFC match. Something along those lines. And I looked at that and I'm like, why are you taking digs at this man? CM Punk is minding his own business. And you have to take this. This goes all the way back. When Punk left, he talked about Ryback and how careless he was and how dangerous he was to work with. And you look at the comments that Ryback throws out there. I remember he tweeted a picture of a bunch of Ryback action figures gathering around one CM Punk action figure. And I look at him, I'm like, this guy is extremely childish. I mean, he's a grown-ass man and he's acting that way. Why can't you handle your business like a man instead of acting like a teenager, man? It's uncalled for to throw out these little kid comments. And it's not cute because he ends up having to delete that stuff anyway, so he makes himself look like a jackass. Grow up, man. I'm not a CM Punk fan by any means. I'm probably like a minor character at best. The guy was a great wrestler and he was a great talker, but, I wasn't a fan of his like that. But still, let the guy be. Let him do what he's doing. On to the video game portion of my show. Is it worth it? This game called Real Boxing. It started off as an iOS and Android app that has the Unreal Engine, and it's a nice looking game for a game that's supposed to be played on phones. They also ported it to the PS Vita, in which I have it there. And this game is a nice game. You create your own boxer and you go through and defeat a bunch of challengers to become the very best. You can collect points to level up your player. You can do different exercises like punching the heavy bag, speed bag, jump rope, and all that. For what it's worth, I think the game is like $4 on the PS Vita. It is a good game, and it's a good time killer. You will beat it quickly because it's not that long, but it is a good game. I'd pick it up if you have a few bucks here and there. It's worth it. The game of the week is an old classic from PlayStation 1, Dino Crisis. If you don't know what Dino Crisis is, it's pretty much Resident Evil with dinosaurs, which is not necessarily a bad thing because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you played Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, you'll be able to play this game with ease because it's the same control scheme. You take control of Regina, who's sent to an island filled with dinosaurs, and you have to get rid of this prehistoric threat. You even fight a T-Rex. That shit is awesome. I love this game. And I wish that they would make a new one. It's been a while. That third one was garbage. After that third one, I just think they gave up on it in order to continue the Resident Evil franchise. But it would be nice if they gave us a new Dino Crisis. Now, I'm probably going to kick myself in the ass for saying this because I'm thinking the same thing that everybody else thinks when this subject comes up. Look at the way that Capcom has treated Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil 5 and 6. Nothing but pure action. No horror element whatsoever. Run and gun. Survive. The last thing I want to see in Dino Crisis is Regina running away from Velociraptors with machine guns. I don't want to be gunned down by dinosaurs. So the best thing for these guys to do, since they're good at remaking games, I mean, they did good with Resident Evil 1 when they remade that, and they're remaking Resident Evil 2. So why not remake Dino Crisis, the first one? I think that would be awesome. WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, had potential. What is this game that I'm talking about? It was created by Acclaim, and it's pretty much a cross between WWF wrestlers and Mortal Kombat. And I thought it was fun for what it was worth. It started off in the arcades, then it was ported to the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and other consoles. It's pretty much a wrestling fighting game, if you know what I mean. You take control of 6 or 7 different wrestlers, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, Undertaker, Lex Luger, etc., the big stars of that era at that time. And they bleed objects. Instead of blood, they bleed objects pertaining to that character. So Bret Hart bleeds hearts and sunglasses. Undertaker bleeds things that are supernatural. Razor Ramon bleeds razors and gold and stuff like that. That was kind of funny to see. They also implemented a combo system to which every character has their own unique combos, and they have crazy moves. Like Undertaker shoots ghosts into you and they get dizzy. Not only that, he hits you with a tombstone. Not the move when he dumps you on your head. He literally hits you with a tombstone upside the head about 4 times. Razor Ramon has this crazy move where he grabs you by your legs and he slams you 4 times while screaming, "Nobody messes with the bad guy." And I thought it was awesome. That game is fun. If you ever come across that game, give it a try. You might like it. Naruto fans rejoice. It looks like they're finally releasing a Naruto MMORPG over here in the United States. And if it's anything like Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse and DC Universe Online, count me in. Being able to create your own character in the Naruto universe sounds awesome as hell, and I'm gonna get my hands on it. It's probably gonna be one of those free things to download, but you have to pay monthly to get everything in the game. Or it could just be like Xenoverse and they just give you everything in the game right then and there, with the exception of a few costumes and all that shit, because you know how DLC is. But I can't wait. It looks like Hideo Kojima has been working on a new game called Death Stranding. He said in his own words that it is his best work and it's groundbreaking. Coming from Kojima-san, I have got to get my hands on this game. Seriously, because I've been a fan of Kojima-san for a long time. This guy created one of the greatest video game series in the video game universe, the Metal Gear Solid series. And if he says that this is his best work, I'm going to buy this game. It's going to be for PS4 and PC. I don't know too much about the storyline. When I find out more details about this game, I will let you guys know. Anime otakus, it's that time again. I got a chance to watch some more Dragonaball Super, and it is getting awesome. This episode was breathtaking. We finally got a chance to see the first showdown between Son Goku and Goku Black. And because it is Dragon Ball, they're taking it slow. Goku was taking it easy because that's how he is. He likes to fill out his opponents and see how strong he is before he goes all out. So there's no surprise there. Goku did manage to inflict damage on Goku Black. Black manages to destroy Future Trunks' time machine, and it looked like Trunks would be stuck in the present, which would be pretty awesome. I don't want him to go back anyways. But it turns out that his mother, Present Bulma, kept Cell's time machine. Remember the time machine that Cell came back in time with when he killed the Trunks of his timeline? Because let me try to make sense of this for you guys. Future Trunks, there's another one. Future Trunks, he went back to the unseen timeline, which is a timeline that is unseen, to do the exact same thing that he did in the main timeline that we know. He went back to Cell's timeline, which is the original timeline, and he was going to go back to the unseen timeline to let the Z-Fighters of that timeline know that he destroyed the cyborgs, C-18 and C-17, or Lapis and Lazuli, whichever you want to call them. He was ambushed by Cell and killed. Cell took that Trunks' time machine and went into the history of Trunks timeline, which diverged into the main timeline. That time machine that Bulma, Trunks, and Gohan found, she kept it in a capsule, and we found out in this episode that that's what happened to it. And she's gonna spend a lot of time trying to fix it so that she can send Trunks back to his timeline. And we find out that Mai is still alive in Future Trunks' timeline because we all thought she was blown up and killed. So there's a cliffhanger for you guys. I cannot wait for the next episode to see what's gonna go down. I am excited. Otakus, I want to ask you guys a question. What is the first anime you've ever watched? What is that one anime that got you into the world of anime as a hardcore fan? For me, the very first anime that I've ever saw was Tranzor Z, or Mazinger Z. That's the very first anime I've ever seen. But what got me into it naturally was Dragon Ball. Of course. I mean, did you guys expect any other answer there? That's what got me into the world of anime. Once I saw Dragon Ball, I started watching everything else. I watched the Gundam series, Sailor Moon, all those classic series back then. So let me know what your first anime was in my comments below. Since this is a wrestling podcast as well as an anime podcast, I thought I'd throw an idea out to you guys. How cool would it be if you took the Undertaker character, a guy that has all these mystical powers and can do all this crazy stuff, and you gave him his own anime? I'm being dead serious. If you have a company that does great animes, that has good recognition, and they sit down and they put the hard work and creativity into an anime specifically for the Undertaker, I think that jump would be awesome. I could see it. It would probably be along the lines of Jigoku Shoujo or Hellgirl. I could see Undertaker appearing in people's houses and at their jobs and saying, "I'm gonna take your soul to hell." He's been doing it over 25 years now, so it would be nothing different. And all the stuff that they could put in this anime to make it amazing, I think it would work. Let me know what you think. The anime of the week is a classic from the 80s, Voltron, Defender of the Universe. It ran from September 10th, 1984 to November 18th, 1985. And what's funny about this anime is that this is the second anime that I've watched. After Mazinger Z or Transor Z, I went on to this series, so it's near and dear to my heart. My aunt used to tape all this stuff so that we can watch it. That was my first exposure to the world of anime. She used to tape this stuff for us. And I'm talking about Voltron with the 5 lions. See, what people don't know is that there are actually 3 variations of Voltron. There's the Lion Force Voltron from the Far Universe. That's the one that pretty much everyone knows. There's the Vehicle Force Voltron from the Near Universe. That's with the cars. I never really cared for that one. And then there's the Gladiator Voltron from the Middle Universe. I've never seen that one. I never even knew that one existed. But now that I know that it exists, I have to check it out. Just like the Ronin Warriors anime, I feel that the Voltron series is also a precursor to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that we see in the 90s, because you have 5 teenagers that take control of 5 giant robots, and they form together to make a super robot in Voltron. The original team consists of Keith, who flies the Black Lion, he's the leader. Lance flies the Red Lion, Pidge has the Green Lion, Hunk has the Orange Lion, and Sylvain has the Blue Lion. Sylvain got hurt, and it ended up being Princess Allura who replaced them from that point on. They come together to make Voltron and destroy all kinds of monsters that threaten their planet. This anime is awesome. It brings back so many memories for me being a little kid watching that. If you ever get a chance to watch this anime, check it out. You definitely will love it. Before I end the show, I just would like to take the time to speak to a friend of mine that's going through a hard time right now. She's going through a bad time with her job, and the way things is going, it couldn't possibly get any worse. And I'm not going to throw her name out there. I'm just going to call her T. So T, if you're listening to me, I want you to dry your tears. I want you to hold your head up, and I want you to come out swinging, because you're a strong woman. Everything is going to be okay. And there's always something that's better. Trust me when I tell you, you keep going in life and you will do just fine. That's coming straight from the heart. And that's it for episode 24 of my podcast show. If you like my content, you can check out my other 23 episodes on my channel, KC the Most. You could also check out my topic videos where I talk about real world problems and things that bug the hell out of me. You could also check out the top 10 videos that I have. I have a new one coming to y'all soon. You could check out my reviews where I review wrestling interviews. There's something for everybody there. I'm also on Twitter at MostKC. I have a Facebook page, KC the Most. I also have Tumblr, which is also KC the Most. There's many ways to find me and let me know what you think of my videos, good or bad. I hope it's good most of the time. This is your boy KC. I'll check you out later. Peace.